So this week I had this real desire to have a particular kind of cake. It was this apricot, choc chip and coconut cake. And as you saw in the video, you could mix all the ingredients together. And it really got me thinking about why that's just like evidence-based practice. Now, to have a recipe, to desire to do something, you need to have a desire. You need a recipe and you need to have the know-how to actually put it together. Those three components are essential if I'm going to create a cake at the end of the day. And that's just like evidence-based practice. You can't just follow the research and the data and the science in absence of what the patient wants or in absence of the know-how, the ability to carry it out. You need all three of those components if you're going to get any kind of outcome. To say you can do one without the other is really just a lie because you can't produce anything at the end of it. Now, just like making a cake, I needed three things. I needed to find the recipe. I needed to know what the active ingredients were and how much of everything that I needed. Then I needed to make sure I had the know-how and the skills. And as you saw, I had to be able to whip those egg whites into submission so they could actually rise rather than let the whole thing be a bit of a flop. And I also needed to meet a need. And for me, that was just this absolute desire to have this particular kind of cake. So you can see it's actually just like evidence-based practice. Now, like with this cake, I talked about the active ingredients. You needed self-raising flour. You had to have it. If I had plain flour, it'd be a completely different kind of cake. Those foundational things that you have in there are the essential, the active ingredients of what you need to make something work. The choc chips, the apricot, the coconut, I could modify them slightly. I could chop them differently. I could have maybe bigger chocolate bits, maybe they're dark chocolate bits or white chocolate bits. I could do those things to mold them to personal preferences. And I'd still produce the cake because I haven't changed the active ingredients. I haven't changed what will allow me to still bake it for that 1 hour at 170 degrees to still make it work. If I do too much to it, it could come out undercooked, overcooked, like it just wouldn't work. It's the same thing when we're actually applying a recipe, in our case, data, research, science to healthcare. We need to know what the actual active ingredients are because if we change those, we have a completely different outcome. We don't know how long it will take to make it work. We don't know whether it will work at all. We can change some of the other things around it, like, some children might prefer one thing to another. It doesn't mean that their toys that they play with are the same. They can be different based on what they want. So there's things that you can modify and the things you can't modify. And that's where the clinical expertise comes in. That's the know-how. That's the chef component of being able to bring it all together and mix it all together and apply it so that I can actually meet the need. So I told you I can make it work. It's evidence-based practice, or in this case, evidence-based cake. That's the research vlog for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you next week.